Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Kim, and I hope you're having a fabulous day today. If you are interested in true crime stories like I am, I hope that you consider hitting that subscribe button. But either way, thanks for being here. Today we're going to be talking about the heartbreaking story of betrayal and tragedy. Now join us for this gripping story of Lola James, a 2-year-old girl whose life has been ruined by darkness and deception. It's no mere murder story. It reminds us all that we are responsible to protect those who are in the greatest danger. This is an incident that will leave you questioning the limits of human cruelty. But first, let's thank Drift for sponsoring today's video. Drift is a sister company of Scentbird. I love them both. Drift provides a monthly subscription air care products. It is more than a car air freshener. It is a stylish piece of art with its stylish wood finish. Do you have a stylish, cool car? Well, make it smell cool with Drift. A bucket of bolts? Well, at least it'll smell good. Their prices range between $9 and $15 a month, so it is very affordable. Products are sustainable and scents are made from essential and fragrance oils. The scent I received this month is Grove. Smells of mountain greens and sugared citrus. It is so beautiful smelling. The first month you will receive both the bracket and the wood or stone scent piece. It lasts about 30 days. You just have to replace the wood or scent portion of it. Their subscription is very flexible. You can change your scent choices, your delivery frequency, or cancel your subscription at any time you like. You decide what is best for you. I typically go with the scent of the month, which features a new limited edition scent. They're inspired by the season and the memories and emotions attached to it. I have yet to get one that I don't like. It creates a variety that you don't get used to the scent. So not only your passenger enjoys the smell, you do as well. Make sure to use my coupon code FLOWER on the scent for 55% off at Drift. It's less than $5 for your first month. Thanks to Drift for sponsoring today's video. This story of Lola is an event that has left a community in shock. The trial of Kyle Bevan, 31, and the mom, Shanae James, who was 30, is shedding light on the horrific death of a 2-year-old Lola James. The Swansea Crown Court is now the stage for a deeply distressing case that came to surface on July 21st, 2020. This case comes when little Lola succumbed to what prosecutors described as an extremely violent attack. The accused, Kyle Bevan, had been living in the family home in Haverford West, Pembrokeshire, for 4 months before the tragic incident. He was the boyfriend of Lola's mom. Bevan, known for his violent outburst and a substance abuse user, stands accused of subjecting Lola to a brutal assault between the evening of July 16th and the morning of July 17th in 2020. The court has heard grim details, including a catastrophic head injury and a horrific 101 external injuries inflicted upon this helpless 2-year-old toddler. You guys, 101. In a distressing turn, Bevan also alleged attempting to cover up the crime by inventing a terrific story. He claimed that Lola's injuries resulted from a fall down the stairs attributed to the family dog. However, the prosecution firmly asserts that this was a deliberate lie to divert attention from Bevan's fault. On the morning of July 17th, phone records indicate a troubling search by Bevan. His search was, "My 2-year-old child has been taken a bang to the head and gone all limp and snoring. What's wrong? Question mark. What's wrong? You Anyways, this sinister online query, as noted by the prosecution, hints to Bevan was aware of Lola's dire condition, yet he waited an additional hour before calling emergency for help. A whole hour he did absolutely nothing to get Lola help. When paramedics arrived at the family home, they encountered a horrifying scene. Lola laid unconscious with a swollen and bruised face, and disturbingly, she appeared to have been cleaned. The pristine condition of the bathroom, in contrast to the rest of the house, the rest of the house was just very, very dirty. It raised suspicions. You know, you have a full house of dirt and clutter, but the bathroom is spotless. It just wasn't adding up. The prosecution alleges that Bevan, in an attempt to erase traces of his alleged crime, meticulously cleaned the bathroom, possibly in a desperate bid to revive Lola or eliminate evidence of the violent attack. The trial also shines a light on Lola's mother, Sinead James. Although she claims she had been asleep when her daughter sustained her injuries, the prosecution, while accepting this alibi, asserts that James should have been cognizant of the danger Bevan posted to Lola due to previous violent incidences. Bevan was known for his violent outbursts and just being an all-around crappy person. So this was not a one-time deal of violence for the family, specifically to Lola. As the trial progresses, expert witnesses are expected to testify that Lola's injuries are consistent with abusive trauma and a deliberate physical assault. The courtroom echoes with the sorrowful narrative of a happy, beautiful, and busy little girl who at just 2 years old and 9 months had her life tragically cut short. In the trial, new revelations came to light at the Swansea Crown Court. Lola's mother, Sinead James, and her partner, Kyle Bevan, stand accused, with Bevan denying the murder charge and James denying causing or allowing her daughter's death. The next testimony brings in sharp focus the nature of the catastrophic head injury that claimed Lola's life that July evening. Consultant neuroradiologist Dr. Neil Studley, who examined the CT and the MRI scans of Lola's head injuries, delivered a critical testimony. He empathetically stated that the head trauma suffered by the toddler was highly unlikely to result from a fall down the stairs, contrary to Bevan's initial claim. Instead, he pointed towards a shocking conclusion. The injuries were consistent with abusive head trauma, likely caused by shaking or a forceful impact, or possibly both. Dr. Studley's expert analysis dismantled the notion that the injuries could be attributed to a simple accident. He highlighted bleeding across multiple areas of Lola's brain and identified brain damage stemming from reduced oxygen or blood flow. The patterns observed, he stressed, were indicative of abuse trauma, typical of injuries resulting from shaking. In the courtroom drama, the defense sought clarification on Dr. Studley's use of the term likely. The neuroradiologist firmly asserted that based on the evidence he examined, he could not find another reasonable explanation for Lola's injuries. He affirmed that, in his experience, such injuries did not occur without the application of inappropriate force. The significant testimony from Lola's grandmother, Lola James, added a personal dimension to the trial. She described Lola as a cheeky monkey who loved life. Regrettably, Lola James revealed that she should have been with Lola that fateful night, as this was a normal routine for the grandmother to take Lola. But unfortunately, she was not feeling well and was not able to take Lola that night. She expressed a belief that had Lola stayed with her, that tragic night might have never have ever happened. Lola would still be with us, she would say. And I understand her regret for not taking her, but if it wasn't that night, it possibly could have been another. Lola had no one in her house to protect her, unfortunately. The grandmother, Lola James, recounted the distressing scene as she rode with Lola to the hospital in the ambulance. Lola appeared to be awful and purple, a departure from her usual lively self. She characterized Bevan as aggressive and disrespectful to the individuals who were treating Lola with her injuries. He's just being an all-around a-hole for no reason. An insertion that paints a troubling picture of his behavior during this critical time. Moreover, Lola James highlighted particular details about Lola's condition. She was wet and wearing pajamas without what she said was a nappy, or as we call it here in the States, a diaper, a departure from her usual sleeping routine. This revelation aligns with the prosecution's claim that Bevan scrubbed Lola clean, potentially to cover his tracks. As the trial continues, these revelations deepen the tragedy surrounding Lola James, offering a glimpse into the alleged abuse and neglect she endured in her final moments. The community remains gripped by the courtroom proceedings, seeking justice for Lola and struggling with the painful realizations revealed during the trial. In the ongoing trial surrounding the tragic death of 2-year-old Lola James, a disturbing revelation emerged as police officers testified about their interactions with the murder-accused Kyle Bevan. The court heard that when police officers arrived to investigate reports of a toddler, Lola, falling down the stairs, they faced obstruction from Bevan. Detective Constable Ray Owen of the police department, in a statement read to the court, described Bevan as an agitated individual during his arrest for the suspected child neglect and assault. Bevan reportedly deemed his arrest as unfair. A 2-year-old is dead on your watch who was all but proven to be abused with her 101 injuries, but it is unfair that there shouldn't be any justice? Okay, Kyle. The situation intensified when officers requested Bevan's mobile phone. Despite initially denying he even owned a phone, "I don't have a phone," he would say. A phone could be heard ringing from under a blanket on the sofa. What an idiot. The contradictory behavior added a layer of suspicion. He was clearly trying to hide something. Police Constable Richard Mason testified that Lola's mother, Sinead James, appeared erratic and panicking upon opening the door to the police. PC Mason explained that she seemed concerned about her potential arrest, but officers assured her about the purpose of their visit. However, the focus shifted to Bevan's behavior once inside the property. PC Mason described him as obstructive, suggesting a lack of cooperation with the police investigation. The court also heard Bevan's initial explanation of the incident, claimed that Lola had fallen down the stairs after the dog jumped on her. Strikingly, Bevan asserted he did not witness the event as he was busy making breakfast. "Oh, it was for sure the dog that knocked her over, but I didn't see anything." How would you know? It doesn't make sense. Anyway, body-worn police camera footage presented in court captured an exchange between the officer and Bevan. The officer expressed the need to ensure nothing what he was saying is true and nothing bad had happened, to which Bevan defensively responded, questioning who is making such accusations. The officer clarified their responsibility in conducting a thorough investigation, prompting Bevan to express his sentiments about the officer's chosen profession. Again, there is a 2-year-old who has died here, and you are questioning the officer's choice of job? Like, he's such a tool. All this added complexity to the case as Bevan's behavior during the police investigation raises questions about his transparency and cooperation. The trial continues with the courtroom heading into intricate details surrounding Lola James' tragic demise. But we have to remember that he was not alone. Remember Sinead James? The mother, and I use that word loosely, was now facing shocking allegations. Where was she? What did she know leading up to her daughter's death, and what did she ignore? More importantly, prosecutor Carolyn Rees, KC, presented a series of text messages to the court, shedding light on the troubling dynamics within this crazy family. One text from the mom to her crappy boyfriend, Kyle Bevan, read, quote, "Lola's terror. She's at Flying Start Nursery to help her with her behavior. She don't sit still. She beats me up. LOL," unquote. Another message detailed an incident when Lola allegedly tripped on toys at the bottom of the stairs, resulting in a facial injury. Bevan, in her text, portrayed Lola as a challenging presence in the home, mentioning the struggles of having too many kids around, unquote. However, the most alarming was from a text in which the mom expressed frustration, stating her daughter was doing her head in and threatening to throw her out the window. These disturbing messages provide a glimpse into this troubling family environment. The court also heard about social services involvement with the family before Lola's tragic death. Leslie Stedman, a health visitor with the health board, which submitted a multi-agency referral to the Pembrokeshire Council in July 2020 after reports of a domestic incident involving James' former boyfriend. Apparently, the mom James has a track record of picking the worst of men. Stedman visited the family, noticing all the clutter, dirty and damp home, and expressing concerns about Lola's unwashed condition. Despite these red flags, James refused parental support offered by a nursery nurse, and the family home continued to raise concerns about the living conditions of Lola. Wendy Rodriguez, a team manager at the Pembrokeshire Council Social Services, confirmed receiving the referral and emphasized the council's significant involvement with the James family over the years. The court heard that James identified herself as a victim of domestic violence and expressed concerns about Lola's behavior. Now, do I think that she probably was in a domestic violence situation? Yes, I do. But that's no excuse for not protecting your little ones. However, critical information about her partner and Lola's propensity for bruising was not communicated. A child comprehensive review was conducted, and in February of 2020, James was advised not to invite unfamiliar adults into the home, especially those using alcohol or drugs. Additionally, the court received insights from James' GP, Dr. Anna Lee Holliday, who prescribed antidepressants in February of 2020 after James reported flashbacks of domestic violence and just having a really hard time. Lola's challenging behavior, including staying up until 2 a.m. and throwing food, added to the complex narrative surrounding the family. The new development in the trial shows a distressing picture of a mother-daughter relationship impaired by challenges and suggests a troubling pattern of behavior within the household. As the proceedings continue, the court deals with the realities of Lola James' short and tough life, highlighting the critical need for intervention and support in cases involving vulnerable children and families. The trial continues in its disclosing more layers. In a mournful conclusion to the trial surrounding the death of 2-year-old Lola James, the sentencing at the court brought justice for Lola. Kyle Bevan, who inflicted catastrophic brain injuries on Lola during a brutal assault, has been sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 28 years. Lola's mother, Sinead James, completely not innocent here. She received a 6-year sentence for causing or allowing her daughter's death. During the sentencing, Mr. Justice Martin Griffins condemned Bevan's actions, describing Lola's death as a result of a sustained, deliberate, and very violent attack. The judge expressed with certainty that Bevan had committed the crime as an assertion of power over a helpless child, showing no remorse even during the trial. Bevan had previously claimed that Lola's injuries resulted from a fall down the stairs caused by the family dog, a narrative the judge dismissed immediately, revealing that he assaulted her over several hours. Addressing the court, Mr. Justice Griffins highlighted how Lola's death marked culmination of months of physical abuse at the hands of Bevan.
The night of the 16th to 17th of July, Sinead James was woken at midnight by a bang, followed by Lola screaming. She got up and saw Kyle Bevan holding Lola by her bed, but when he said, "I've got this," she just went away. She did not go into Lola's bedroom or have a proper look at what had happened. She went back to her own bed and left Lola alone with Kyle while she slept. During that night, he carried out the further attacks on Lola, which killed her. By 4:26 a.m., Kyle had Lola downstairs and was photographing injuries he had inflicted on her back. By 6:30 a.m., he had inflicted a total of over 100 visible injuries all over her body. Some of them were caused by a weapon, although the weapon used was not recovered or identified. They included injuries to Lola's right thigh with circular elements in a linear pattern caused by a weapon, and bleeding puncture wounds to her forehead, also caused by a weapon. Kyle Bevan hit the side of Lola's head with such force that it caused ear bruising and subdural bleeding in her skull on that side. He shook her head backwards and forwards so violently that she lost consciousness and died from brain damage. Dr. Michelle Jardine is a consultant in paediatric intensive care who has worked in Wales for 12 years and before that at Great Ormond Street and at the Royal Brompton Hospital. She saw Lola's body in intensive care and gave evidence that it was one of the most extensively bruised and battered bodies she had ever seen. At 6:30 a.m., Kyle Bevan searched on Google, "My 2-year-old has just taken a bang to the head and gone all limp and snoring. What's wrong?" The results told him to get emergency help at once. Had he done that, Lola would have had a better chance of survival. He dreamt up a cover story that all Lola's injuries were attributable to a fall down the stairs after a push from the dog. He moved Lola's body around, callously photographing it and even filming it at one stage. When the police came later in the morning at about 11 a.m., he delayed opening the front door. When they did get in, he was still vacuum cleaning away as much forensic evidence as he could. I am sure that Kyle Bevan did this as an exercise of power, an assertion of superiority over the only person he could feel superior to, a helpless child. As soon as the police were involved, he tried to rehearse his partner in a false account which he had concocted, stressing to her, "You got to get it bang on like." He has no remorse at all, even now. At the time, he did not even simulate sadness about Lola's injuries and critical condition, when everyone around him was distraught. At the hospital, he threatened and insulted the staff. He hurled abuse at the victim's natural father and challenged him to a fight for no reason at all, as Lola lay dying in critical care. I now turn to Sinead James' conviction for allowing the death of a child. Her relationship with Lola's biological father had been brief, and he was a loving and attentive parent to Lola from a distance. However, she came into the relationship with Kyle Bevan as a victim of past domestic abuse from other partners. As a result, she had been trained through domestic abuse programs to protect herself and her children, but she allowed Kyle Bevan into her household on the basis of a superficial initial impression. As evidence against him began to mount, she continued to hope for the best and leave her children at risk. She was surrounded by supportive friends and family. She was connected with social services. She always had places of refuge, but she shut her eyes to the very obvious danger which Kyle Bevan posed to her children, even after she saw him deliberately push the pram into oncoming traffic. She decided to accept and manage the risk to herself, and more importantly, her helpless children, because he was not as bad as her previous abusers, and she liked having him there. She prioritized the relationship with Kyle Bevan over concern for her children. This was never more evident than when she went back to bed after the scream and the bang which she heard from Lola's bedroom when Lola was with Kyle, only hours before Lola was murdered.
He emphasized that James, in prioritizing her own relationship with Bevan over her child's well-being, played a critical role in the tragic events that surfaced. And I'm not really even talking about the other children, but whomever and wherever they are, I really hope that they're in a better and safe place. In a victim's impact statement, Lola's father, Daniel Thomas, expressed the profound loss and pain caused by the cruel, defenseless murder of his daughter. He painted a vivid picture of Lola's vibrant personality, her love for the outdoors, and the dreams shattered by her untimely death. Thomas, though grateful for the convictions, acknowledged that no amount of jail time would bring joy or fill the void left by Lola's absence. Lola James, Lola's grandmother, addressed Bevan directly during her statement, expressing the enduring pain and inability to come to terms with the crime. She described Lola as her cheeky monkey and reflected on the joyful moments they shared despite the challenging circumstances. The grandmother's statement illuminated Lola's spirited and mischievous nature, underscoring the tragedy of her stolen future. The sentencing marked the end of a trial and cracked a harsh story of abuse, neglect, and betrayal. Bevan's life sentence and James' 6-year term reflected the severity of their actions and the devastating impact on Lola's short life. The case serves as a reminder of the importance of safeguarding vulnerable children and the responsibility to prioritize their well-being over personal relationships. See something, please say something. But in this case, she should have protected her daughter no matter what. As the courtroom proceedings conclude, the community mourns the loss of Lola James, a bright and joyful soul whose life was tragically cut short. Let's leave a Purple Heart in the comments for little Lola. Before we part ways, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep Lola's memory alive by encouraging conversations about child protection, awareness, and the support for those who need it most. If you found this episode impactful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content that challenges, informs, and inspires. Thanks to all my channel members and Patreons who continue to support me. If you would like to become a channel member or Patreon, you can do it by clicking the join button from your desktop. Well, if you have made it to the end, you are a rock star, and I love you to death. There are more true crime videos in my Crimey Cases playlist for you to check out. Stay safe, my loves, and remember, if you see something, say something. Bye.